Hello, Matt again with 5280 Armory. A friend of mine stopped in the other day. He happens to be a representative of many of the products that we carry around here at the shop. He's got a new product that he's thinking about carrying from a company called Omega that does HK clones. This one's chambered in 45, so let's take a closer look. Omega refers to this model as the Gideon Shadow, built upon the HK UMP system. And like I said earlier, this one's currently chambered in 45, but can easily be converted to 9mm or 40 Smith & Wesson in just a matter of minutes. Caliber conversion kits include a barrel, a bolt, and a magazine, and require no gunsmithing. Omega recommends hnkparts.net for the source of these kits. Speaking of barrels, this one is 3-lugged and it has 16x1 left-handed threads. This is perfect because I just happen to have a suppressor on hand with that thread specification. This GS pistol has a side-folding arm brace, a sight, and a laser that have been added that are not included, and it still comes in less than 6 pounds. That's mostly due to the fact that it's made out of a large amount of high-impact polymer. By comparison, the MP5 pistol weighs about 1.5 pounds more. The receiver has an integrated rear hinge for the folding arm brace that's interchangeable with an H&K folding stock, in case you decide you want to convert to an NFA weapon like this UMP seen here. It's at this rear hinged area that you're going to find the takedown pin. We'll simply pull that out, fold over the arm brace, separate the lower from the upper receiver, pull the bolt and the recoil spring out the back end, separate those two, get it cleaned up, recoil spring back to bolt carrier group back into the receiver, drop it down, lower, mates right back up to the upper receiver, pin back in, might have to tap it in a little bit, do a function test. I really don't think it gets any simpler than that. But before I move on though, for those of you not familiar with the UMP, watch how simple it is to remove the barrel. The trigger has about 3/16 of an inch of take-up before it hits a heavy wall. Our Lyman field gauge was consistently over 8 pounds before the hammer fell. Maybe a trigger job for me. I've heard of a few people that work on these. The reset in between shots was about 1/4 of an inch. Well, I'd say it's about time to see what this UMP clone can do. Let's get this firearm in the range ready to shoot. I'll get the sight mounted, and when I'm done, Spider can get some fresh oil on the metal parts. Meanwhile, Gina's getting the mags loaded and the other firearms ready to go out. I'll start off as usual, off the bench to see what kind of accuracy I can expect. Not bad, I might say. The last 3 rounds went right through the existing hole. And now I'm going to get a feel for the trigger. With the target flipping, I'll try a few low-ready double taps. And while I've got the target set up, I'll do a couple of 2 low and 1 high shots. I always do extra reps with the left-right transition. This one takes a lot of practice. I feel that the laser is very effective in the dark, especially when you can't see your sights. And a flashlight is an absolute must in the dark for me. Every firearm has a little bit of a different feel when it comes to mag changes. It's always good to practice this a lot. Even though I reached completely around the front of the mag well to hit the mag release, something I wouldn't always do, the mag still dropped freely. While doing our suppressor shots, we received good results on function and accuracy, and with a threaded barrel, we'll have more choices to choose from compared to the H&K lug on the original UMP.
Shooter ready?
Ready? We just happen to have an IDPA PCC classifier for tonight. That's going to give us a good opportunity to see if this Omega pistol is competition worthy. I was really impressed with the accuracy of this firearm, as it did much better than I had anticipated. The target grade ammo had already shot a ragged hole in the target seen up above, and the G9 was the most accurate, but it didn't feed as well as the Spear Gold Dot. The G9 will likely do better when the weapon is broke in. Well, you knew I wouldn't be able to call it a day without doing a little full auto shooting. I'm going to shoot a different UMP here. The only difference is this one's obviously select fire. Up next is one that I don't get out very often. It's getting kind of old. It's an Auto Ordnance Thompson, chambered in .45. The rate of fire on the full auto UMP is only 600 rounds a minute, and very controllable even with longer bursts. But the Thompson, on the other hand, is an open bolt firearm, and you can really feel the difference, especially with the longer bursts, even though the rounds per minute are about the same. Well, the range is about ready to open, so we're going to have to call it a day. We had a lot of fun shooting this Omega GS pistol. It had a few failures to fully seat into battery, but as the day went on, it got better. So overall, good shoot today. For any questions you may have on this Omega GS pistol that we didn't cover, come on down and let's go over them. 5280 Armory Colorado's Gun Shop. We'll see you soon. I had mentioned earlier that we had a couple of failures to feed. We've got a couple hundred rounds through it now, so let's see if it's doing any better. Well, okay, that was 20 rounds, no failures to feed, fire, or eject.